Welcome to the Eurostep Brit podcast.
Akmanar from the wing. Got it! Maybe they're not done yet.
Needs to find some help. Gets back to Nunez. Oh, lovely old pass and the finish from Herkenhoff at the hoop. Per Gunther for three. Got it! Per Gunther, 3 Punkte.
Gunther, step back. Three. He got it again! Per Gunther's put on a show here late in the fourth quarter, winning his team to victory.
Hello and welcome. It's episode 16 of the Eurostep Brit podcast. We'll call this one an Uuulmer adventure. Now, if you're a regular listener of the podcast, you already know that I've followed the fortunes of Ratiopharm Ulm for a while. In the last episode, I mentioned I'd be taking the podcast on the road in March. But I didn't say where it would be because, if I'm honest, I was a little bit worried it wouldn't happen. And here's why. I've been trying to get to see Ulm in person for a while, but I've been denied on more than one occasion. One time I'd arranged to take the Eurostar and go see Ulm play a Euro Cup game in Paris, only to have to cancel it due to COVID travel restrictions. Previous attempts to see Ulm either at home or on the road were cancelled in the planning stages for work reasons. When you're self-employed, you've got to get the work where you can. And even when I didn't plan it, the odds went against me. One year, I was on holiday in Berlin on the trip I'd booked quite a few months before. Now, had Ulm progressed through the playoffs, they would have been facing Alba in Berlin at the time I was there. You can guess what happened. Ulm had gone out in the previous round. And again, if you're a regular listener, you already know how disappointed I was when the London Lions never got drawn against Ulm in Euro Cup. 2 seasons, never in the Lions group, and didn't even meet in the playoffs. Even this trip wasn't the one I'd originally planned. I'd actually wanted to go see the game against Alba Berlin at the beginning of March. But I had to postpone that because of a work opportunity that I just couldn't afford to turn down. Thankfully, it would only be a brief postponement, and I could make the game against Frankfurt. Now, when I got off the train at Ulm Hauptbahnhof the other week, I don't mind admitting that I stopped for a moment, sort of looked round, made sure no one was looking my way, and went, yes! It was just a relief that after a number of failed attempts, I was finally in Ulm and going to see the team play. And before I get on to recalling the weekend and bring you some interviews from it, I just want to quickly share this. After I'd walked to my hotel, it must have taken me at least 20 minutes to check in and get to my room. There wasn't a problem, far from it. It's just that while I was checking in, I mentioned I was there to see the basketball. And it turned out the person on duty behind the desk was a big Panathinaikos fan who also goes to see Ulm games now and again. And it turned into a long, great, enjoyable conversation about basketball and last year's EuroLeague Final Four, which, of course, Panathinaikos won. It's just as well that no one else needed to check in during that time. Anyhow, back to story. And the following morning, I took a bus over to the Orange campus in Neu-Ulm. My original plan was to visit the club shop there and see if I could add something to my Ratiopharm Ulm collection. Early in the week, I'd been speaking to sporting director Thorsten Leibenath, and he asked if I would be interested in a tour of the campus while I was there. And of course, I wasn't going to say no to that. And I'm so glad I did say yes, because the Orange campus impressed me. Not only is it a practice facility set up to look after their BBL team, but their main indoor court is also the home venue for their Junior Pro B team. And the campus even recently hosted a round of the Next Gen EuroLeague tournament. To find out a little bit more about it, I thought it would be good to get Thorsten back on the podcast. This interview with Thorsten you're about to hear wasn't recorded while I was in Germany. This is the one we did after I turned home. And that's because of my old friend, the technical gremlin, which ruined the audio on the original interview. I really need to start getting some sponsorship for this podcast. This is now the second microphone I've broken. I don't think I've even been going 6 months. There you go. Such is. Anyhow, the interview. Without further ado, let's get to it. Thorsten, it's great to have you back on again. Apologies for the previous interview corrupting, meaning we had to do this again. But I just want to say how much I enjoyed that tour of the campus. And before we get into talking about it, I'd just like to ask you, what was it like for Ulm before you built this facility? So the sort of places you would train, how often you could train compared to now.
Like it wasn't all bad. We like the pro team at least mainly practice in a facility that was used to be a practice gym for the U.S. Army when they had the troops here in New Ulm. At some point, they didn't need that anymore. It was given back to the city, and the city allowed us to use it. But on top of that, all our youth teams they were practicing in school gyms and sharing practice times with other sports. So we're still doing that at times now, but in a way we didn't have a clear home. We didn't go into a facility that we called this is our home, and for logistics it was super important, but also for our identity.
How did the idea to build the Orange campus come about, and how long did it take to go from the idea to completion?
I think my bosses had the idea already pretty much right after the cities built the arena. So about 14 years ago. They said, well, but we also will need a practice facility. Let's start the next crazy project. And there was one point where it became more and more realistic, but from that point on, it still took us 5 years to get all the parameters right, get all the people on board. We had to go through the city of New Ulm, through the city of Ulm. They also had a say in it because the ground that the campus is on is owned by those two cities. So the political process behind it took 5 years. It was really a long time, but the building time was actually only 19 months.
And when it came to building the campus, what were the priorities for putting in place on it? Like obviously courts, practice facilities, all that sort of thing.
I would say the priority was that we really wanted this to be an integral part of the community here. It shouldn't be something that's only there for the pro players. It shouldn't be something that's only there for the youth players, but it should be something everybody can identify with. Everybody who likes to do sports, who is curious, who likes to go for a good dinner. Since we're hosting a lot of different units in this campus, everybody can find something that he likes to do with it or likes to have to do with it. And I think this is the unique approach. So it's just the customers, the people that customize the Orange campus. It's not just 800 basketball players and a few who like to watch basketball games. It's way more. It's people with their companies. It's people who like to work out in a fitness place. So the overall group of customers is way bigger. And this approach, in my eyes, made it unique.
I'd say that's one of the things that impressed me when I was on the tour was it wasn't just like the main court and some other courts for trainings and gyms, but the fact people can come in and use it. You've got a little coffee shop there, you've got the restaurant, you've got the club shop. Obviously, as you said, the public can come in and use the gyms as well. There's meeting spaces, you can have outdoor events. It's all set up not only for the community, but also that I suppose in a way it helps bring in a little bit of income to the club as well.
I think that's a fair assessment. We always experience that running a sports club in Europe is not a sustainable business. It's basically a way of losing money, and we didn't want to just continue in that tradition. Like we said, like we need to have different revenue streams in order to make the whole idea of being a professional basketball club sustainable.
And does it help you in any way when it comes to recruitment, the fact that you've got a really class facility?
I would turn it around and say it won't hurt. Like when young players come and see what opportunities there are within the campus, they're obviously impressed. But then, like, you can have the greatest facility if you don't have the personnel and the concept behind it, it will not help. And I think the concept is really what differentiates ourselves from others, because we're not just saying we want to develop young players, but we're also doing everything that's needed in order to develop them, especially giving playing time and giving responsibility.
And then one thing I want to talk about as well, obviously the main team uses it for their training, but it's also the home base for your junior Pro B team, isn't it?
Yes, correct.
And how important is it for them to have a good facility? Because obviously you've got this reputation now of bringing in good young players and developing them, and obviously a lot of these players go on to bigger things. How important is it for you to have a good setup for them?
It's probably even more important because this is our future. Like the pro team is just um, a nice way of checking where we stand in in the now, in the present. But we want to be really successful in the future as well, or even more successful. And therefore, the true investment is our youth. And they need to have a home base, just as the pros need to have. And one thing you will notice in afternoons in the Orange campus, you will see 8-year-old kids, you will see 14-year-old youth players. They all meet in the same spot, and all of a sudden there's a pro player walking by and signing autographs for those 8-year-olds and getting to shoot with a 14-year-old. So it really creates a culture of togetherness that we're all practicing and using the same facility.
I'd say I remember when I turned up to meet you, one of the players was following me in through the front door, which is quite
Yes.
nice. You've got that access because what I loved about the tour you gave me was we went to that lovely big showpiece court with the seating and the running track round the top, which amazed me. I loved that. But of course, then we walked through into another gym and there's games going on there. And then we walked through to another gym and there's games going on there. And then the actual physical gyms, gymnasiums that people use. I think there's one on each floor. Is that right? I saw quite a few gyms while I was there.
Yes, that is correct.
But it's just amazing facility. And of course, you've got the outdoor courts as well, haven't you? So people can just rock up at any time and shoot hoops, can't they, when the weather's nice?
Exactly. Like anybody who works out or plays in the facility, he needs to be registered with our club or be part of the opponent team. But anybody who enjoys shooting hoops can go at any time and play outdoor. So there's no restrictions. You don't have to pay a fee. You just show up and shoot. And usually you find other people who want to do the same. So there's little scrimmages, there's games going on. It's always busy,
And
unless
then,
it's raining too bad.
well, I know it rained on Sunday. It really rained on Sunday. I mean,
No.
the rest of my trip was absolutely fantastic weather. It really was nice. But the one thing I want to ask you is about the obviously kids playing in the other courts. Has the level or the amount of players, junior players, increased since you've built the campus?
Yes, big time. But it went in line with our increased efforts to really attract young players coming to basketball. So in the last few years, our section, let's say under 10, has really developed big time. So if I'm not mistaken, at least 300 kids play organized basketball, and they're all younger than 10 or 10 or younger.
So is the campus basically in use every single day?
Yes, yes.
Right. And what's the youngest? You said under 10s there. Is that the youngest age group you start them at, or can you?
Well, we start in the age of 3 or 4. I'm not 100% sure. I think when you're 3, you can sign up already. And let's be honest, it doesn't really have to do with basketball, but a lot of kids love to be associated with that basketball club. So they show up for a workout that obviously includes a lot of fun, coordination, getting used to catching a ball, getting used to catching teammates while running. So it's a playful little practice, and it simply prepares kids for future basketball practices.
And then the last thing on that, obviously, now visited Ulm and Neu-Ulm. They are two small cities. Since you've built the campus, are you drawing in more kids and players from surrounding areas? Like your footprint is increasing? Or?
I would say that this is a normal procedure when you'll have more success. So in the last 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, or no, it might be 3 years. We won 2 German championships in the youth section as well. We won the German championship with our pro team. So there has been increased success lately, and yes, I think that attracts more and more players from the area that feels like I would love to play for this club. I think the coaches are good, the infrastructure is good. I think that's a logical process.
So, Thorsten, it's been absolutely wonderful to get you back on the podcast again today. Thank you so much for the tour of the facility. I absolutely loved it. What you've done, the size of it, the way it interacts with the community and for the team and for the junior team, even the outdoor courts anyone can use. It's really, really class facility. Like I said, thank you so much for joining us again today. And I wish you and Ulm the best for the rest of the season. And hopefully I'll be out there again soon. Who knows?
No, thanks for having me a second time on your podcast. It's a pleasure. Without a doubt, on my side, love interacting with people I know from a long time when I was working in Scotland. And
17 years or so, yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time indeed. And it has been a pleasure having you in Ulm, so make sure you come back again.
I was really impressed by the facility, and it's something I would love to see replicated here in the UK one day. A venue for the team, but also for the community. Somewhere to train, but also something capable of bringing in revenue. The game against Skyliners Frankfurt was not until the following day, so after a tour and a visit to the club shop, I spent the afternoon wandering around Ulm. It's a small city, famous for its monster, but I just want to mention another place you can climb. If anyone in Germany is listening, please forgive me if I say it wrong. The Berblinger Turm. It's a spiral staircase tower that sort of leads to nowhere, and it's located on the Ulm side of the river that separates it from Neu-Ulm. If you have no idea what I'm on about, please look it up online. It's dizzying just to look at from below, let alone climb. And it also has an incline about 10 degrees, I think. But to misquote a popular saying, when in Ulm, my mistake was that although it was a nice sunny day, there was a breeze, which of course I felt more the higher I climbed. When I got to the platform at the top, I could feel a gentle sway side to side, and then I made the cardinal mistake. I looked down. No, not a good idea. After about 2 or 3 minutes of taking some pictures and video, I had enough and decided to leave. Back to the basketball, and the following day I got to the arena much earlier than I needed to, as I just wanted to take a look around and sort of soak in the atmosphere. Now, I prefer the atmosphere at basketball games in mainland Europe more than I like them here at home. That's because I just prefer when the atmosphere is dominated by the fans, not by the music. And on this occasion, the Ulm fans did not disappoint. It was loud in the arena, and this was just a regular season game. And I'm glad the game I got to see was against the Skyliners, as they had some former Ulm players in their roster, including Christoph Phillips and Patrick Heckman, two players I commentated on when doing Eurocup. During the game, I was recording little bits between the quarters, not knowing if I would use the audio in the podcast or not. Most didn't, but one did make the cut. Cue the halftime voice note.
Half-time in Ulm, and the home side have a 61-40 lead. Ulm have been by far the better team. I've really enjoyed it. Though in the first quarter, everything seemed to be just threes. Couldn't get any baskets inside until the final seconds of the first quarter. So I'm thinking, press conference? Let's ask the coach, see what he's got to say afterwards about it.
And after Ulm went on to win 115-88 over the Skyliners, that's exactly what I did, as I put a couple of questions to Coach Ty Harrelson in the post-match press conference.
Ty, 27 your first 29 points, all from beyond the arc. Your first 2 points, it was literally last few seconds. 8 of your 11 baskets in the second quarter were inside the arc. Did the game change when you were able to take it to the hoop?
Well, yes. I mean, again, we were trading baskets a little bit, but the 3-point percentage being higher than the 2-point percentage is kind of a amazing thing. The way we shot the ball. I didn't realize it until you said it that we hit 9 threes, I guess, in the first quarter. Then, right?
Yeah, first 20 seconds.
Yeah. I didn't realize that until you said it. But the thing is, you can't settle for that the whole game, and we did a good job of attacking the basket, and I guess getting a better balance as the game went along.
And how pleased you were with the defense tonight? Because sometimes you force turnovers, able to get baskets in the fast break.
Yeah, I mean, that was great. In the first quarter, not very satisfied. To me, 24 is too many, and we had this problem in Frankfurt. Like we traded baskets the whole game, and then we lost in the end, in trading baskets basically. So that game was in the mid 80s. This was a worry. We want to hold teams to under 20 and a quarter a couple of times. We were able to do that in the second and third quarter. So. Yeah, the trading the baskets, also the defense. I think our intensity and our activity was really good today. We didn't play on our heels, but you got to give credit to them too, because they're still scoring the basketball.
After the press conference concluded, I chatted with Ty as he was leaving and asked, would it be possible to do a short interview for the podcast at some point, either before I left for home or even online sometime? The response was, we can do one right now. So, without further ado, here it is.
So Ty, just want to take it back. How did you get the opportunity to come to Ulm?
Well, I was coaching Rosta Vesta in the BBL last season. Mm-hmm. It was our first season after promotion from the Pro A, the season before, and I think we had a very successful year. We did well in the Pokal. I think we made the quarterfinals, and then finished in 6th place in the season. So we were kind of the surprise team of the BBL. We played with a very, very young group of players in Vesta last year, and guys who were playing for their first real seasons in the BBL. And I think that in some way helped me get noticed by Ulm, and also a similar concept that Ulm's been doing for a long time. Vesta was kind of doing the same thing. So I guess I was the right fit whenever Anton left for Bomber.
I say it's big shoes to fill, obviously, because Anton brought the first title to Ulm. So do you feel any pressure there, or you just?
Yeah, I mean, my first. I've always kind of like my dad was a coach, and he kind of did this too. We always like kind of take the underdog team. So my first head coaching job, I took the last place team in the second league in Australia, got them into a championship after 3 years. Went back to my college, was very successful there, won the first championship. Went to Vesta, they were in the Pro A. So this is the first time where I stepped into a club that's already been successful 2 years ago, winning a championship. Let's say high expectations with really good young talents. So I'm thankful to get the opportunity to, I guess, show what I'm capable of doing and to do it at this level.
I got a chance to see the Orange Academy first time yesterday. To me, absolutely fantastic facilities for a club in Europe. What's your impression of the Orange Academy, say, to other places you may have worked?
Oh, it's the best. I mean, it's when I go to work every day, to go to such a great facility. Um, yeah, it just makes you feel good. You go to work here, you know that you're in one of the best training facilities and for the sport, and maybe all of Europe. You see similar things in like high level college basketball in the States, at some of the universities, and it's really great to have that here in Ulm.
I don't know German basketball that well, but how does it compare to other teams? Do you know?
Well, I guess Munich just built a new stadium,
Yeah.
but before I took the job, the rumor was like even our game arena has one of the best atmospheres and
Definitely was
stadium.
rocking tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the practice facilities, but I don't know anybody that has as nice a one as what we have. So I think we have two of the best facilities if you combine them for basketball here in Germany.
And talking of the academy, obviously the Pro B team plays there. Do you watch a lot of their games when you're not coaching?
Yeah, well, the Pro B coach and I share an office. We try to do a lot of the same things with offense and defense. So when our double licensed players make a transition, the terminology is the same.
Yeah.
You could see it today. Alec and Gabata got about 10 minutes. He plays on both teams. We probably would have had another player here today, but they have important NBBL and JBBL games as well. So.
What was it like coming to Ulm as an opposition coach and the atmosphere? Because it's just the roof is low in this arena, so it keeps the noise in. The atmosphere is actually fantastic in here.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. It's a larger scale. Like Vesta has a 3,000 seat arena, and you want to talk about the roof being really low. It's really low, and the people are right on top of you in Vesta. So also great atmosphere there.
Yeah.
But this is like a like a little bit bigger arena, and the fan block is, like you said, rocking, and it's like that on most games. So it's just honestly, it's a wonderful life experience for me. And when I left the States a couple years ago, I basically had a year where I didn't have a job, and to get here and be in this position this quickly, I don't know. I feel lucky. It's a little bit of a Ted Lasso experience for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I'm really enjoying the team. I'm enjoying the management here. Thorsten, is so great at what he does, and as a former coach, I can bounce stuff off of him. And then the vision of Thomas and Andreas to build this up. I used to be a player, so I played in the old Kohlberg Halle.
I'm going to go and see it tomorrow if I can.
Okay, which was also rocking back in the day, but
Yeah.
it's a school gym, and I helped Ulm move up back then. I played so bad for the other team that they won the championship. No, but
Maybe Mike Taylor years.
Mike Taylor, Mike Taylor moved up with them. I think it was 05, 06. So it was my first year as a player in Germany.
Just a final couple of questions. I'll ask you about your assistant coach, Ty Harrelson. He's been around quite a few years at Uuulmer. He's assisted other coaches. What does he bring to you, to this team?
Well, I mean, he brings some clout with the players because his jersey's hanging up in Oldenburg, and so our players, it gives you an assistant coach with that kind of amazing playing experience. Gives a lot of respect. It gets a lot of respect from the players. For me as a coach, like 7 years here now, and he knows the ins and outs, everything that's working. So it made my transition much easier. When he can tell me what's going on in both Euro Cup and BBL, how everything works. He does a lot of stuff with our defense, and at times we have one of the best defenses in the competition. So yeah, and he's a fun guy to be around. That's important when you show up to work. You want an assistant coach you look forward to seeing, and that's what I could say about Coach.
And then just finally in the season, you're sort of to and fro-ing with Bayern at the top of the table. How have you seen this season? Has the team lived up to expectations, or do you think there's still another gear or two they can get into?
Well, we started. I mean, we've started to hit that gear. I thought we played well. We had a little stretch at the end of the Euro Cup with some injuries. Our team captain Tommy Klepich went out. Isaiah Roby went out. Unfortunately, we played a really good Euro Cup season and weren't able to finish that with a playoff with any kind of playoffs. But we missed out by one game. But we played well in the final games, and we've hit our stride in the BBL now. So yes, we lost to Bayern Munich. If we play at the top, close to that, I would say we would be exceeding expectations, especially if you look at the injuries that we have in such a young roster. So I feel really proud of where we're at, and I hope we finish the season strong.
I will ask one final question then. After that Bayern loss, is that the perfect response for you tonight?
No, absolutely. I mean, we felt like we had really bad spacing against Bayern Munich. We didn't shoot the ball well. We had turnovers. I mean, you have to give Bayern Munich some credit to the quality of the competition and playing on the road. But we've played better offense, and we just couldn't get the offense going last game. And today, you could see that everything was kind of clicking and firing on all cylinders.
Brilliant. Absolute pleasure to talk to you, and I wish you the best rest of the season.
Thank you. It's great to have you here.
At this point, most of the team had departed for the evening, but I was offered the chance to speak to a player if I wanted to. I just had no idea who it would be. They just had to see who was still there. That player turned out to be Justinian Jessup, an American guard in his first full season with Ulm, who prior to joining Ratiopharm had played in New Zealand, Australia and Spain.
Justinian, after that defeat at Bayern on Monday, that was a great performance for the team tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, great performance. Good bounce back. I'm glad we didn't underestimate them, because they beat us obviously when we were playing at their place. So definitely good to bounce back from a loss and play the right way.
Yeah, and that game sort of broke open in the second quarter, didn't you? You were that 5-point lead. I was talking to coach in the press conference. I felt to me, once you guys were able to go inside, even though you were hitting the threes, that's when the game changed. But when did it feel to you when the game changed?
Well, it felt like right at the start of the second quarter, we got 2 steals, I think. We came out, we executed a set, got 2 steals into points as well. And I feel like from then on, our defense was really clicking, especially in the second quarter. So that's kind of what led to the run in the second quarter, I think, was our defense and finding mismatches inside for sure.
Let's talk how the opportunity come to join Ratiopharm Ulm.
Well, I mean, last year, literally, about a year ago, this time of year, I was just coming off an injury from the NBL, from the New Zealand Breakers, and Ulm called me, and because they had an injury themselves, and they were looking for a replacement, and it was just a good fit, from the player profile, and so yeah, it worked out well, and so I played, I finished the year here last year, and then it was just the right decision to come back after that.
Did you join? You joined after the Euro Cup, didn't you? You didn't play in Euro Cup.
Yeah, I didn't play in the Euro Cup.
That's what I was trying to remember you. Sorry.
Right after the Euro Cup.
Yeah, we didn't really get a chance to watch BBL games abroad, unfortunately. It's very.
I know, it's hard.
How have you found life in Ulm yourself? Obviously, Ulm is a smaller city compared to the rest of Germany. What's it been like for you? Do you like that sort of small city mentality?
To be honest, I was a little worried when I was coming from New Zealand. I was looking on the map. I was like, dang, this place looks tiny, But I got here. I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty nice. Everything's really close, which I appreciate. And I think, I'm more naturally drawn towards cities that are a little smaller, not massive. And so, the town is great. I love where I live. And so, Ulm's been a really good experience off the court for me as well.
I want to quickly ask you about the Orange campus. I visited the first time yesterday. Now, for facilities in Europe, to me, I'm very, very impressed. What did you make of it when you first?
Yeah, no, it feels like a, close to an MBA type thing, and for sure high level college. So, yeah, I mean, that totally makes coming to work, way easier every day, and you're in a facility like that and you're getting taken care of, and, so it's top of the line for sure.
What's it like playing this team? Obviously, you've got a great eclectic mix of teammates, I should say. Guys always capable of doing different things. Yeah. What's it like on this roster for you?
For me, it's great. I feel like we got a great balance of scoring, athleticism, shooting. Coach has done a great job getting us to play together. So to be honest, I'm feeling really good about the year so far and the trajectory we're on. We got some things to just continue to improve on like any other team, but compared to this point last year, I'm feeling pretty good about where we are.
And then I will ask one final question. Obviously, you still got a little way to go in the regular season as such, but you sort of eye on those playoffs now after last year?
I think, I don't know. I think so. Obviously we're got the top of the ladder, playing good ball. I think we're just trying to take it one game at a time and secure the playoffs first and foremost, And so, yeah, but I think when that time comes, we'll be ready to be playing our best basketball.
Brilliant. Well, thank you. It's nice to meet you, and I wish you the best of the rest of the season.
I appreciate it.
Okay, so here ends my Uuulmer adventure episode. My thanks to Justinian Jessup, head coach Ty Harrelson, and sporting director Thorsten Leibenath, and also everyone else I met from the club who made me feel so welcome during my time there. I've only been back a few days, and I already want to return. If you're listening to this podcast outside of Germany and ever find yourself there during the season, go see a BBL game. It's a really good league that deserves a bigger audience. As always, anything you can do to help share and promote the podcast would be appreciated. But for now, until the next time, my name's Niall Gray. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the Eurostep Brit podcast, a hoops and hockey production.